Hi, Brian from Airflow Music here once again. Welcome back and Happy New Year. Actually recording this on January 1st, 2021. You'll see it later today. Well, later today, at least in the American time zones. And yeah, I thought it might be fun when I got up this morning, actually. This is really on a whim, to try and do some regular videos again. So I put my thinking cap on, figured out a couple of things I'd like to practice in the next week or two. And that's where we're going to start. So, very welcome to come along with me. We're going to start out working on some scales. Always good to keep our scales under our fingers, or to get them under our fingers if they're not already there. So I've got a scale workout for you that works out not only the scales and their arpeggiations, but does it in all the modes of the scale as well, so you can start to get a feel for those and how they sound. Coupled with that, we're going to practice a bunch of different articulations, bringing some slurring, some tonguing, and some double tonguing as well, and really try and get those things going. So that's the idea. The exercise that we're going to do is available as a free downloadable PDF from the Airflow Music online store. As usual, you'll find the link in the description below, and I suggest you go and look for that and grab that right now so you can follow along. I'll be putting these things up on the screen as I go, but you'll want to have that so you can practice on your own time. This workout is eventually going to be in all 12 keys, but I'm just going to do 2 keys per day for the purposes of the video. Partly just to keep the videos a little shorter. The 30 Days of Long Times was fun to do, and I enjoyed the structure of making those, which is partly why I'm back doing this. But recording something quite so long, I know some of you like to watch it, a lot of people didn't, and so let's, keep it a little briefer and give a little something to practice every day. Okay, so this scale exercise, grab the PDF, follow along. You will see, and it's going to be popping up on the screen round about now, the first line, we're playing up and down the scale. Those first 2 bars are repeated, and then the second 2 bars are the arpeggiation of the scale. Each repeated section we're going to play 4 times, and each time we're going to play with a different articulation. Okay, first time is going to be slurred, second time is single-tongued, third time is car-tongued, the back of your tongue like you use in double tonguing, and the fourth time is double-tongued, so we can get those going. Okay, as I've talked about in other videos, to get your double tonguing and your triple tonguing really going, the thing we have to do, and the reason it often sounds bad or feels weird as we get started, is it can be difficult to get that car tongue happening. So let's practice it independently on its own, try and make it sound as good as we can, hopefully as good as our single tongue, and then start to get the coordination of putting it together. That's the way that's always worked well for me in the past, and part of the point of this is I need to put my own double and triple tonguing back together, something I could usefully practice. Okay, so I'm going to set my metronome going at 100 beats a minute. We're going to play 2 keys today, written keys of C major and F major. Now, each of these keys we're working through all 7 modes, so we're going to play this pattern as written, and the next line is going to be up a step, up 1 rung of the ladder if you like, so we're in the next mode, so on and so forth. If as we get into the later part of these modes, or if we get into different keys, any of these things become too high for you, they get outside of your comfortable range, then when you need to, play that line down an octave. It's much better to learn your scales and just get used to going up and down and getting those things happening than it is to worry about the range in the first instance. Okay? So I'm going to set my metronome going at 100 beats a minute. We're playing 8th notes or quavers, as you can see, so that's not desperately fast. Reasonably slow, in fact. So, yeah, practice along with me if you wish. What else do we need to know? I'm playing at a comfortably soft volume throughout, trying to play each line with all the repeats in one breath, and not too much more to say, I think. Let's get into it. Okay? Here's the exercise. Okay, so there's the C major lines done. As you can see, there's some challenges to playing these things, particularly getting the K tone going in the higher register. I'm not sounding real good on that right now, and that's something I'm working on. That's why I want to practice these things and get them really locked in again. Okay, but as you can probably hear, in the middle register the double tonguing even slowly isn't too bad. It's reasonably clean, but again, it's something I need to develop, so that's the point of doing this in the first place. Okay, so let's press on. How are you liking the tempo so far? If you don't know your scales well enough to keep moving smoothly through at this tempo, then, you know, take the PDF and practice at whatever tempo you need to get going. Okay? And you can always come back and play along with me later. Right, in the meantime, let's get on with the next key. This one is written key of F. This one is a bit higher, it's a fourth higher, so we're going to be quite up there by the later modes. If you need to take any of these down the octave to feel comfortable, then be my guest, please do that. We'll see how I get on. I may even end up doing the same thing myself. I haven't recorded it yet, so I'm not sure. Okay, let's see how I do. Okay, so there we go. That's the first 2 keys in the book. As you can hear, the K-tongues in particular get real squirrely up the top when we get in the upper register. That's a challenge to make clean, and something I'll need to go back and spend some more time on to really get them going. It's having played that many that long, and then particularly getting up there, I'm not really hitting those notes cleanly with the K-tongue, because I'm just not used enough to doing it at the moment. Again, that's why I need to practice, that's why I need to do these things. And personally, because I'm a little out of shape with it, my coordination on the double tonguing, remembering to get tucka 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 in order, is you know, a little bit off. That's the sort of thing that tends to be easier to do faster, but sometimes it requires a little concentration when you're double tonguing slowly like this. But double tonguing slowly like this is where you get to the quality of the articulation being where you want it to be. So that's the trade-off. Something to work on. Again, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this. So, leave me a comment below. Let me know how you got on, what you think of this exercise. Polite feedback as always, please. As we learnt in the comments during previous series. If you don't like something, that's fine. You don't need to be mean or unpleasant about it. That's going to be a pretty quick way to get your comment deleted and get yourself banned. Okay? Don't like to be too harsh about this stuff, but let's keep it civil and keep it constructive and try and keep something positive going. Okay? So, leave me a comment, let me know, and in the meantime I will be back tomorrow with the next 2 keys. You'll find all of the keys written out on the PDF when you download that. Yeah, and if this tempo is a little bit too much for you, it's a little bit too much for me in places, I mean, take it off the metronome to begin with and get these things under your fingers and find your way. And then, you know, start a little slowly. I picked this as a good tempo to be able to kind of keep everything going fairly slowly, but also be able to get through all of this in one breath, because it's quite long, particularly in the low register. Although, if you were with me for 30 days of long tones, that should be less of a problem for you than it might have been previously. Okay? So, anyway, thanks for joining me. I will see you again for another set of these, another 2 keys tomorrow. And in the meantime, like I am, you know what to do. Go practice.